Hey everyone, it is late at night and I am Norman. It is once again State of the Collection season. And this year we're going to kick it off with my box of gift watches. That's what we're going to be covering tonight. It might be a brief video. This is one of my smaller boxes, kind of like my primary collection. So let us begin. Okay, now these watches aren't in any particular order, except for maybe the last one. That one is so my style that I've worn it a bunch. So if your watch shows up early in the video, that doesn't mean that I don't like it. They're all just kind of in a random order. First up, we have the Wolf Notch watch, and what I like about this piece is this company reached out to me unsolicited. This is their first go at a mechanical watch. They typically do like fitness watches, smartwatch type stuff. And while the design, I would have done some things differently on, I think it's cool that this is their first try. And they were cool enough to send this without any expectations. And when I did a video on it, I was honest about some of the changes I would have made to it, and the winding rotor's kind of tight, doesn't really rotate too well, but the company was really cool and appreciated the feedback. That's always good. Next up, we have the Hamilton LCD vintage piece from one of you all. And I think I need to replace the module in it. And I'm gonna do that maybe this year. I'll do some digging and see if I can find a replacement. It's kind of difficult to see the dial on this. It just kind of goes black, but there you can kind of see the pattern on there. Yeah, this is pretty fun. It'll be cool getting it working. And like all of the other gift watches in this box, none of these are going anywhere because people were kind enough to gift them to the channel or to me personally or both, so they will always be in my collection. Next up, we have the Edifice watch. This is a quartz piece, and the indices have kind of a green hue on the sides of them. Not sure if you can see that though. It's cool because it's really subtle, but makes this design look really cool. The date is nice and subtle as well, and I like that green seconds hand. And this is just all dial. It's a thin piece. Yeah, I really like this design. Super cool looking. Next up, we have one of the two Anacorn watches that the company sent to me. I always forget the name of this piece. I think it's the Cassini. It's super cool looking. I think this one is a prototype because I think it has a Miyota in it or some unidirectional winding wheel in it, which is pretty loud. But I know on their website, the ones that you purchase there have a different movement in them. But I love this design. It's kind of dark and creepy and definitely space looking. So when I'm in the mood for that, this is a fun piece to get out and wear. Such a crazy design. I love it. And the finish on the case and bracelet is just wild. And I'm a huge Anacorn fan, having gone through their collection. They make some super cool pieces. Here's the other one that they sent, the Time Traveler watch. And I know that some of you don't appreciate, is it Mondane, that this is so similar to, but it doesn't have the lollipop. personally, that's the one critique I have of those watches. So the fact that this doesn't have that is really cool. But that's just me personally. I love the Bauhaus aesthetic on this. And this is the one that came with the traveling box. And you can insert this so that it displays in the opening of that box. I've done a couple videos on it already. And there's this watch. This was a gift from one of you all. And look at that dial. That dial is so cool looking. Especially in person. It's just brilliant. The deep dark blue and those sub-dials. Try and get a good angle on those. It's cool how it like hugs your wrist. But I think the main star of this watch is definitely the dial. And I have a neo vintage Gucci watch. This was a gift from a friend of mine at church who just out of the blue handed it to me. It is properly vintage size. I'm usually not a huge fan of black and yellow gold, but I like this design. Super minimal dial. Look at how thin it is. And apparently Gucci watches are actually really well made. That's super cool. And another gift from one of you all. The Sheridan. And this piece is vintage size. It's 35 millimeters, dive style, nice and thin looking, especially when it's on your wrist. It looks even thinner than it is. The only problem with this piece is I need to get the bezel fixed. I recently found out that there's a local watchmaker. I may have to hop in there and see if he would be able to fix that. But yeah, I've worn this and when it's on the wrist it looks really cool. Like just kind of sleek and slender. Then there's the first of the 2 mixtape watches that Foreign Swit was cool enough to send to me. I actually wanted to get my hands on these for quite a while, but I don't think I ever asked the brand if they had any out for review until a bit ago. I saw a different review on YouTube and decided to ask them, and they were kind enough to send this one as well as this one. Foreign Swit is a really cool company. The owners there are awesome, and I love how they do synth wavy stuff like these and some of their other pieces. Just retro 80s brilliance. Then there's this piece, which I inherited, and I'm not sure who I inherited it from. My dad tried to explain it to me, but I don't know if he even knew. I think he got it from my uncle, who got it from someone else in the family. I believe this is actually a nurse's watch, but one of the men in the family had it and wore it. And I've worn it and it looks amazing, even though it is tiny. But, I mean, that crystal is just crazy. And one of you informed me very recently, apparently this is actually pronounced Elgin? That's wild because I've never heard that. Crazy. But yeah, this piece is cool because when it's on your wrist, it actually looks like what vintage watches look like when you see them in movies. Strangely enough, when I wear other vintage watches, they look kind of normal, but this looks pretty vintage, probably because it's so small. But yeah, cool piece. I mean, look at that second hand. It goes all the way to the edge of the dial. Next up is the Bowdairy, and this is titanium. I don't think I've ever had a titanium watch prior to this. And look at that honeycomb texture on the dial. And there is lume in all those little grooves there. It doesn't last very long, but when it's activated and charged up, it looks really cool. I love how rugged the case looks. And the tiny hour markers are cool as well. Yeah, this is a pretty cool design. Great looking piece. And it looks good on this strap. And this came from one of you all. Then there's the Eddie Bauer watch. I absolutely love the bezel on this watch. That is the coolest bezel design. It looks so amazing. And this piece has Indiglow. It's a quartz piece. The hands are skeletonized so you can see the glow through them. This is an absolutely perfect camping watch. So next time I go roughing it camping, I'm definitely going to bring this. I think last time I didn't because I had the G-Shocks that were going to be up for trade and I wanted to do a video on those. But oh, maybe I did bring this. I just didn't wear it a ton because I had those other two. But yeah, I think pretty much every time I go camping, this is going to be in my bag somewhere. Super cool looking. Okay, and last up is the Juvenia watch. And this is my favorite because look at how Bauhaus and how minimal this is. It's a two-hander, manual wound piece. Look at how thin it is. Even though it has a box crystal, it's still super thin. It looks great on this blue strap. I mean, that is so cool. There isn't a minutes track. It's just super thin batten markers. Absolutely gorgeous piece. When this first came in from one of you all, I put it on the time grapher and I believe it was doing okay because I've worn this a bunch. And if it was concerning, I would have been too scared to do so. But I may have to put it on there again just to make sure. When you wind it, it's not terribly smooth, but it may just be the movement that's in this. But I do want to make sure it's still performing great because if it isn't, I'm definitely going to add this to my soon to have serviced list. Just to have peace of mind if it's not performing terribly well, but so cool. I love that dial. And I actually like that it's a two-hander. So cool. There you have it, watches that have been gifted to me, myself, or the channel by you all, and a few of them from other people in my life. As well as a couple companies that were kind enough to send pieces, no strings attached. Super cool. Keep your eyes open. The next box we're going to be going over is my secondary collection. Thanks for watching.